Hello, everyone. I'm Golfo Alexopoulos, Director of the Institute on Russia at the University of South Florida, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this Creative Horizons event. Creative Horizons is an ongoing collaboration between the USF Institute on Russia, the Meilkian Center for Russian, European, and Eurasian Studies at Arizona State University, and the Havighurst Center for Russian and Post-Soviet Studies at Miami University in Ohio. The goal of the series is to spotlight art and artists from Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union. The Creative Horizons series includes a short video produced collaboratively by the featured artists, followed by an online event about their work. We will play a segment of that video for you in a moment. Today's event is in partnership with the Barnard College Department of Dance, Reid Hall, and the USF School of Theater and Dance. We welcome our audience online and in Reid Hall in Paris. Our event today features an international collaboration between dancers from the United States, Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus, choreographed and directed by Colleen Thomas in 2019. But the sun came up and we were here, delved into the embodied experience of self, perception, and connection in a climate of heightened political and social unrest. Now, 3 years later, at a time when many of these dancers have been impacted in various ways by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the international cast comes together to reflect on the themes of their work then and now. Our event will begin with a moderated discussion led by Michael Foley, professor of dance at the University of South Florida. The moderated discussion will be followed by questions from the audience, both in Paris and online. We encourage members of our online audience to submit questions at any time using the Q&A function on Zoom. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce this distinguished international cast. From Poland, Krystian Wyson, Lama Kristina, Monika Witkowska, and Mikołaj Karczewski. From Ukraine, Daniil Belkin. From Belarus, Zhenya Romanovich. From the United States, Dare Aryinda, Darren Wright, and Samantha Allen. The choreographer is Colleen Thomas, a New York-based choreographer and performing artist and professor of professional practice at Barnard College of Columbia University. Colleen will begin with an overview of the collaboration. Over to you, Colleen.
Thank you, and thank you everybody at Reid Hall for allowing us to do this here. So I'm going to say a little bit about this piece, about what happened. You're going to watch a video that is not the piece, but it is a reflection that we made, these dancers made about 2 weeks ago. So it's current. In 2019, I was invited by the Adam Mickiewicz Institute in Poland to come to Poland and make a work that would be a collaboration between some of my dancers, people that I had been working with for years, and Polish dancers, Ukrainian, and Belarusian dancers. So I was to have an audition and then have pick dancers. I didn't know who was going to be in the room. And then we were going to make a work. I think I went with Sam to Poland to have the audition. We worked with these dancers and others and connected, did a lot of contact improvisation, a lot of other improvisation, and worked with voice, and we worked with puppetry because Zhenya was a puppeteer. And once I found that out, we knew we wanted to have it in the piece, have some kind of component in the piece. So we left, Sam and I left, we picked the dancers, we came back, and we had, I think, about 3 weeks to workshop and make the work for the first premiere. So the first premiere was at the Lublin Dance Theater. Our residency was there. It's an amazing space in Lublin that has housing and a beautiful theater and a wonderful festival every year. If you're in that area, check them out. The Trust for Mutual Understanding supported this work. So we had commission and grant money from both of those organizations. I knew when I got there, when I was going to Poland to make the work, that I was concerned about the political climate in America. We had just had a new president. It was a lot of division in the country, and I wasn't sure what the piece was going to become, but I knew that I wanted to work with ideas around division and how we sort of move through. And I got to Poland and there was a Nazi march. And I thought, okay, I didn't know that was so prevalent here in Poland, and it was scary. It was all over the news. And so I got there, I got into the room with the dancers, and I thought we were going to talk about our president in America and the climate there, but we ended up talking about global politics and what was going on in each one of their countries. It was a huge learning curve for all of us, and we lived together and made work for those that time, and it was one of the most special artistic times that I've ever had with a group of dancers. They're all incredible. You'll get to see a little bit of them, and of course, if you want to see the real dance, I will send you the whole video. I sent it to a few of you. And so, yeah, that is what I have to say about this. And then you're going to see a little bit of what they made recently, sort of commenting on the work that we made together. Golfo is going to share the screen.
Trying to figure out how to have some kind of hope and how to move forward. And I feel like the piece, although everybody got sucked into or fell into or thrust into the world that wasn't the party, the less desirable world, we figured out a way to have hope by the end of it by lifting up this sort of cloud, and the cloud still feels heavy, but it is at least up, and it's trash, but the way that Rebecca lit it is sort of beautiful. This beautiful sort of changed, destroyed world. So my thoughts on the piece in light of current events are really we're just all worried about Daniil and hope that this is over, like by the time this video, like over yesterday. But the piece is just stronger and became stronger with every performance and every time we experienced it, because of course the world was really crazy then, and it's worse now, and it's there's parts in the piece where Mikołaj has the paper mask on his head and he's talking about gun control in America, and he's talking about how we love our guns, and he was using current events then, and it's so much worse now. It feels so much worse now, and I mean, he was just so brilliant with that monologue that he's talking about the Syrian refugees, but now you think about the people who are coming over in Poland, and all of the friends that are in this piece in Poland are housing people and helping them. And there's just, people are trying to just help and trying to connect and trying to just make it through until this is over. And Daniil is there and he's fighting, and because he has to, he can't leave, and because he loves his country. And in the piece, when he picks up the paper and he says, "I love my country," now that means, I mean, it was intense then, but now it's just really clear.
I was thinking about the concept of the piece, about this idea that different people are jumping in one space and are trying to live together. And basically, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, they are so crazy and different individuals here. And how Colleen will do this, that how she will choreograph it and it will work. I was like, oh my God, it's not possible. But then during the process and during all of these meetings in the kitchen in Lublin and with other time in the rehearsals, it just happened. I think it's so great that we created the space open for everyone, and I don't know, it was just very beautiful. And what I want to say, even during this horrible situation, there is a space, great space, created from people to people. And I found it really similar to what we had in our piece. When I'm going to my parents' house, there are 3 women from Ukraine living there, and my parents just invited them to share the space of their house. And yeah, this is a space where they are living together, they are sharing their skills, and they are supporting each other. And I think this is much more strong than any other stuff which is happening around now.
Thank you so much, actually, that you want to talk about this project, because that was a very important project for me too. And I want to share one moment, our process, which was very important for me, which opened a lot of interesting things for me. So in our performance, we have this moment when our bodies, we lean, we bend our body like this, and we're supposed to sit like this, maybe like 3 minutes. And I always did it, and I didn't understand what it's mean. Okay, I can bend my body and I will stay like this, but what it's mean for me. And one day I was walking after a rehearsal, I just walking around at night, and I saw a homeless person who slept like this. So his eyes was closed and he was just almost slept like this. So not horizontal position, not vertical, he was this position. So that's how I feel right now, our time. We are not straight, we're not like, not that dead, but between. And so that's kind of diagonal position of not safe place. It's really, really, time is so hard to feel it and feel this straight, like straight position and straight. Yeah, so that's what I learned about from this project. And right now I feel like what we did that time, it was 2019, this position, right? So I feel like right now that's the time of this position, diagonal. Yeah, also that's one of the most interesting part for me also, when we had this piece of paper which is going straight from the back to forward stage. I'm sorry for my English, but yeah. And then we had this moment when we just do this, and we create shapes, and it's work like a puppets. So Daniil, he used this like create Ukraine, create his country. And at that moment, Ukraine was, there was no war. It was 2019, but the feeling of the time, like he felt probably that future because that conflict exists maybe 200 years between Russia and Ukraine. So people who's living there, they feel it. And not just Ukraine, but Belarus also. I'm from Belarus, and Russia want to actually, because we have our own culture, but very, I would say, very specific small culture, but our culture, and they want to just, just how to say it, like destroy our countries and make it everything look like Russia, probably, I don't know. So that's also a very important message in this performance. And I feel like this performance is supposed to leave. I wish we can travel and show this work.
In the piece, we talked about the river in the paper and a lot of the sort of hidden metaphors that were going on there. One of the things about the river is that, you see things look so much better on the other side of the river, but from the other perspective, we're already on the other side of the river. And if anything, that kind of just more so gives me optimism. I'm feeling positive about hopefully things can get better. Another thing that I'd like to talk about that was really great and integral about making this piece is when we did a lot of contact improvisation or generating materials in this work, and the contact improvisation is all about human touch, sharing weight, giving and receiving, and it's such a under-hidden message about the human connections and how it's so important even across all the borders that we live in, that we can still make these connections. The group that we had was a very, very strong individual performers and individual personalities that came together really beautifully. Another thing I would like to say, we made this piece in 2019, and it was right before COVID hit. So the world has totally changed dramatically. I mean, we wear masks all the time. We try to stay 6 feet away from each other. So it's just very interesting to know, like, people's comfortability about being close with each other and making contact and feeling the sensation and feeling each other. I really feel like, if anything, that sort of sensation and desire has been heightened, and I just feel optimistic. It's the only way I can feel right now. I don't want to feel negative in light of all the things. I can only think that we can only get better from here, and I just hope that's true.
Hi, hello, here is Mikołaj. I'm talking to you from Poland, actually specific from Lublin, from the place of origin of this performance. I'm very happy that after so many years, this piece is still alive. First of all, Daniel wouldn't be physically with us because he can't leave his country. So this is the big change. Also, Lublin has changed. It's like totally, maybe not totally, but it's a different city now than on that time because of all the refugees and because of that it's so close to the border with Ukraine and with Belarus, what is important. So I think this is also a big topic. What has been changed? The relationship between countries has changed. And I think this is the topic that then in Europe it wasn't a topic, now it is. I had in the piece the story about the refugee that lost his soul in one of the refugee camps, who had blue jeans and yellow t-shirt. Blue jeans and yellow t-shirt, I remember this sentence from the piece. And because on that time it was a topic on the news. But in my head, it was somewhere there. It was still important to me, and it touched me. But now it's totally different story because in my home, I had a mother and daughter from Ukraine for 4 months. They were running from war. They were living in my home. So this is totally different. The other thing is I remember Daniel's story when he took the paper smash it and say, this is my country.
This is my country. Beautiful forests, beautiful people live there.
Now, when the Ukraine is, they are heroes, and now it's resonate totally different, this sentence with this paper in his hand.
I didn't realize until now how political this piece was. And now I see it. And I wanted to talk especially about one part. I have this solo with the screaming gesture. And now I can feel it, how this scream and this piece, which is silence and which is really desperate, and it takes some time, like nobody can hear it and nobody can see it, and actually nobody can help, because I feel like I'm invisible in this moment. Like it's this crying for help, but I cannot be noticed because so many other things are going on around us. So I think this is how it connects with the world right now. Like, can we still hear this crying for help, or are we already so used to it so we don't bother?
I love the idea that the whole thing, the whole piece was made from the paper. So the puppets, the ceiling, the whole set was made from the paper, and somehow we were made out of the paper too. So for me, it's like a metaphorical option of like it all is one, just not just intellectual, but to feel the option that you can be connected with another person. So as you can feel its happiness and love, you can also feel their pain, their desires, their hatreds, and many other things. So that's what have changed for me, I think. I don't know what's possible right now for more collaboration, because I feel that we are in the point where there are some geopolitical emotions according to the situation. Because, for example, now in Poland, we are a little bit in fear that we would be, as a nation, as a country, the next one after the Ukraine. So that's why many of the Polish people are like, go fight, kill them. It's like quite simple. But for example, I don't know, but maybe in France or in Spain, it's not so, the ideas and the thoughts that are spoken loud are not so based on fear.
To me, this piece is really about, was about many things, but one of them that really strikes me is perspective and perception. So that's, of self and of others, and something we talked a lot about, which was the other. So when you sort of otherize and separate yourself from members of the global community, let's say that, because we see obviously nationalistic conflicts, and then we also see, even within our own country, sort of communities within one country having conflict or perpetrating violence against one another. So when I think about that aspect of it in the piece, there's some ways that comes up. It's that you only see a little glimpse of the piece peeking through the door. What is that perspective that you have? How does that differ from the perspective that we have as a dancer? What are you missing? What are you not getting? And then when it does spill into the space, how does your perception change of our world, of what you know of our world? So that comes up for me a lot. And then for myself and some of the dancing in that work, I see that as well. So when I think about the duet that Danielle and I made in particular, you know, my perception of it has shifted so much, and that's just personal. But I think also one of the really interesting things that happened in making the work was that we created these two solos, and when we put them next to each other, it changed the meeting so dramatically. And then again, for me, with what that was about when I was making it, I was really sort of investigating the grotesque. And for me, it was somewhat internally. So my own darkness, spots of darkness, or, the grotesque ways that I can be or have been, or, that I may think about myself. You can see that in the facial expressions and in some of the movement. And I remember seeing Daniel perform his for the first time. And I felt, his strength and his power and his sort of, his commitment. And it was also very personal to him, but I don't think I knew exactly what it was about. He says, my country. And now, I mean, to see that and think about that today, it's pretty mind-blowing, because he's literally living in a war zone. And Daniel and I have gone on to have these sort of parallel lives that are completely different. He and I each have newborn babies. So I had a baby a few months ago, and so did he. So we've become parents for the first time. After having this beautiful duet together, now we're each having a very beautiful experience. But at the same time, he's living in a war zone, and I'm choosing what color my countertops should be, before I move into my new house. And it's really hard for me to wrap my mind around what he's going through and how we got here.
Hello, my name is Daniel Meilkian. I'm from Ukraine. Now placed close to Kyiv. You can see behind my back is the baby house. It's the place where new life is going into the birth. But for now, you can see the Russian freedom for Ukraine. So we meet, especially me. I knew it from the first war activity in 2013. I was in Dnipro at that moment, and it was the beginning of this huge war. Nobody of us knew that these actions could come such a close, because it's just 20 kilometers to Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and they destroyed every city, every peaceful places. They killing people, huge amount of people. They continue to kill. During the day we have 7, 10 alarms, and you never know which this rocket bombed your family, yourself, your neighbor. So this is reality which we have now, almost more than 2 months. So the life is continuous somehow, but this is nightmare. Even if the sun is still rising and we keep going, there are huge problems with economy, with the humanitarian catastrophe in many cities of my country. But Ukrainians are continue to fight. They have strong feeling of victory, and we will get this victory. And thanks for support from the whole world. I really see now the real face of the Russian government. Russians, the empty heads of their propaganda, which is not telling the truth about, because they could say that this is Ukrainians did it. You can see by your eyes. You can feel this. So this is my perspective of what's going on in Ukraine. Even now, it could be alarm, and we should run somewhere. So we have this feeling, and we don't know when it will finish, unfortunately. I hope and we trust and we continue to fight. The strongest people of Ukraine, they showing to the whole world how we could resist, how we could support each other. So this is the situation. Thanks you for watching.
The UN Refugee Agency just released the other day that there are 100 million people displaced in the world right now due to war and conflict. 7 million of them are Ukrainians. And 6 million of them are refugees outside of their country. Peace be on Ukraine. We hope that Daniil and his family are safe. You did see there, he is in Kyiv. That city experienced bombing just up until this afternoon. I want to turn this over to this extraordinary cast. This is the first time, sorry, Colleen.
It's okay.
It's the first time that you're all together since the premiere and the subsequent performances in Lublin and in New York City. You're seeing each other for the first time. You have your choreographer here. He's an absolute master at what she does. With the news and the extraordinary events happening in Ukraine, a lot of this centers around Daniil's story. It feels like the center of a lot of it. You shared a lot in the video about your feelings, but can you expand upon some of that since the invasion of Ukraine by Putin's army, how this has changed for you even more than what you articulated in the video? And thank you all for being here tonight. Thanks. You can unmute and share anything that you'd like to.
Mika, why are you going to unmute? I was going to turn his camera on.
Or maybe just how that affected you watching that back. If there were, we are in the Center for Global Studies here in Paris. You're all from all over the world, Poland, Belarus, the United States, and here in Paris. And what a great thing to be all together in this moment to share this. So anything that you'd like to share, feelings that are anything that's coming up for you right now.
So, yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear
great.
you, Lama.
So maybe I can tell that the huge change, for example, in Poland is in financing. Like a lot of finance for culture has been cut because of the war. And it's not that I'm complaining because they need to help, but this is like something that I can feel on my skin and something that really like affects me. That I think like 2/3 of the dancing programs in Poland have been cut this year and they are not happening. And they are also cutting financing for festivals and different culture events. So I think this is one thing. The other thing is I can tell like one day I was just leaving my apartment and I met these people downstairs. My friend was talking with them and she realized that they just came from Ukraine. It was like 5 days after the invasion and they had no place to stay. So we took them and the same evening she organized a flat for them. So this is like, they're everywhere. And I can really see there's like Ukrainian helping center in Poznan that I'm passing by each day. And there are always queues. There are queues, lines, long lines of people standing there for help. And the last thing I can say, like lately I was cleaning up the house after my mother and I had a lot of stuff to throw away. and I did this huge container and I put a lot of stuff outside. And the first lady that came, actually, she was living nearby. It was a Ukrainian woman. And she said, like, this is all for free. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do with it. And she's like, okay, so I need to post it on the Ukrainian group, because a lot of people from Ukraine are living here, but they have nothing to live with. And this is also about this, I think, very much connects with how much something that for someone is a trash can be a treasure for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Christina. Thanks.
You're
Anybody
muted,
else?
So
Chris.
maybe I can say something else. According to Christina, what she said, I'm in a big problem right now because this whole situation, Russian-Ukraine situation, made me some mind-blowing action, because I was starting to not going in this, based on fear option of not even complaining, but seeing the world like this, how they, I don't know who is they, but how simple the misinformation and the information can change people's mind, behavior, and so on. One thing what was very interesting for me, it was this dopamine rush, which happened in Poland at the beginning, because people were like running to help. And it's not good, it's wonderful, but I was concerning and thinking about, are they aware that this is the dopamine explosion that they are experiencing in that moment? And they like, it was like, I hope you know what I mean. The point was that I saw like 2 months ago a lot of posts on social media. There's like the people were describing what they have done today in this horrible situation, how sad they are, but still they are helping. And it was like, okay, have you really need to tell it to everybody else on social media? It's one thing. I'm really glad that the Polish, not even government, I don't think government made a lot for the people. I don't like them, but it's my opinion. But I love what people and how the Polish people behaved in this situation, because I saw a lot of help, a lot of love, a lot of unconditional love, with option of giving your own things, your own private space to people who are in need. And that was beautiful to see that it's happening, that the people in need weren't left alone. But I'm only also concerned about the option, what will be next, because it's not so simple and so one-to-one that all Ukrainians are poor and people in need, and all Polish people are with a great heart. We are all people, so all kinds of situations are happening here, from murders to falling in love, probably too. But we have to, I think that's, for me, it's a great time to spend also on myself, to observe what's really happening with me, but not egoistically, but rather to observe how it connects, what's really going on the world, because it's really funny to see how the geopolitical option is changing in a way, because one side is telling their truth and their lies, and the other side is telling their truth and their lies too. I like the option when the Western European and US media are talking that the whole world is against. And it's not exactly true, because it's not about the whole world, the whole world that has a similar perspective. And it's not about me taking an option, but to see how the system works. And I think
that's it right now.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you. You know, you're all dancers, you're all creative artists, and, you know, who see life through the lens of dance. And it's usually in theater or music or the sculpture or painting that those convey deep discussions about the socio-political. But Colleen, you managed to do this to dance, and dance being your lens as artists to see things like nationalism and relationships in times of peril. Have you been rethinking that? Have you thought more about that since the invasion? Have you gone back to this piece at all and thought about how you're using dance to do those things?
I can respond. Hello. First of all, I actually want to say thank you for this amazing video. I watched first time. I on purpose, I didn't watch just to have a feeling about this. And when I saw Daniel with building, and when I saw that destroyed building, I felt like, oh my God, that's like our paper. So it's like a crunch. It's like all buildings lay like our craft paper. And it was such a strong feeling. It's again, connect with our work, because all this paper, it's really easy to destroy this, you know, beautiful, just straight paper and make it very like a crunch. And first of all, yeah. And second thing, I want to say that I'm from Belarus and we involved to this war too. And that's very crazy because I have friends from Russia, from Ukraine, from Belarus, and now people, even families, inside of families, it's just a lot of war and discommunication. And I'm now in New York, and how I felt that war, I felt that I start to get sick. So because we are dancers, we feel we're connected with our bodies. So I got sick, and all around my people, like, I mean, like Belarusian people, Ukrainian people here in New York, they also became sick. They have a lot of pain in shoulders, everywhere, bodies was very like, and we started talking what's going on. And that's our reaction on this war in a body way, I would say, because like a dancer, you can, I don't know, you can take, I don't know, gun and go and kill, you know, or go and fight. Your tool is body. So what's happened, that's what's happened with body. But I found kind of decision, I found the way to release that. So I started to work with one Ukrainian theater, and by Zoom, and it's possible to help each other through just video, I don't know, Zoom. And I'm like almost like every week I'm talking with Ukrainian dancers and actors. So, and how they feel this war and how they feel in their body. And I know that this situation is crazy, but how it's make people understand life, and how they strong and how they understand what they want. And they're really actually, that's this war actually connect Ukrainian people, and like a really, really like real Ukrainian people, and make them stronger like a nation. So I really believe that, I know that it's, you know, it's like we have this bad side, but good side. I feel like they will grow like a nation, and it's very important. Yeah. So, but yeah, bodies is crazy how they react, and yeah, it's a lot of pain in the body, and everybody needs to release that. And a lot of, I know that a lot of psychologists start to work with Ukrainian people, help them go through that, and they do it for free just to help people. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all.
A wonderful response. I anybody want to contribute to that? Any thoughts? Monica, Nikolai, Daru.
Sure, I'll jump on that. Yeah, I mean, with all the conflict and everything going on with COVID, and oh, sorry, I'm Darren. Yeah, everything was going on with COVID, and then Ukraine, and then here in America we have our guns, and it's just becoming mass suicide or mass shootings every single day. Um, and trying to dance and move with all this other stuff happening around, it's like, am I being selfish or whatnot? But it's just complicated. It can get challenging trying to figure that stuff out. So yeah, just trying to be realistic about certain things, and yeah, just trying to stay positive and keep moving. I mean, I don't know what else to say right now, but it's like, I felt like when the Ukrainian situation happened, felt like there was nothing I could do except for talk to this group of people. It's like and it was just talking. It wasn't dancing a movement, but like I did feel like my body like not really wanting to move forward, or like kind of just frozen in a way. But like I still feel that, but like less so. But it's like, it's challenging. It's confusing at certain times to wonder, why am I doing this when there's all this other big stuff happening far away from me? I may not be close enough for me to see it or experience it. And I guess part of my one fear or concern right now is that the Ukrainian situation is starting to like not really be in our mainstream media here in the States, because we have all these other problems. So it's like, I'm just afraid that we're gonna lose sight of like what's happening. And it feels like there's nothing I can do. So it's a weird feeling, but just keep moving. I know that's not really a response, but it's kind of like what's happening right now.
Thank you, Darren. Thanks. I should say that at some point I'm supposed to turn this over to Colleen, but Colleen's been very moved by this from the beginning, so I don't want to make you speak, Colleen.
No, I was just thinking about how, there was all of these issues when we started to make the work that we, Dare and Darren and Sam and I, as privileged Americans, came over and our eyes were really opened, and we really shared something. But the whole piece was about this sort of division, and how can you talk to your aunt about, the political climate when she's watching Fox News and believes everything that's on that, you know what I mean? So it was like we were dealing with this sort of division and this dystopian world that was changing before our eyes, and we sort of made that on stage and explored that. And so I think we don't know how to move forward, but like all of these people, even in this crisis, they're still moving. Like they're still dancing in companies and performing, because I see it on Facebook. I see Miko Wise doing like 100 projects. Monica's dancing, like they're somehow they're finding healing through dancing, and they're still doing it. I don't know. We all feel stuck, but yeah, I don't, yeah, Miko wants to say something now.
Yeah, I just want to say that because when the war began, I was in Denmark, I was working there, and it wasn't a first topic, it was just some rumors that what is going on. And on that time in Poland, it was this beautiful movement of people, not the government, but the people, what they create and how they react. It was amazing. And then I was there outside of that, and I was kind of lost. What should I do? Should I go back to Poland and participate in this? And then I talk with my friends, and we have this big topic about what we can do. And I think this is also connected to this moment that we are all here, because we as an artist, we can comment the reality and have our point about that. And that work that I was working was about connections. So through dance, and also Colin created these answers about how we can survive those bad moments. I don't know if human nature is, if we are good from nature or if we are bad. And I think it's jumping. And I think I hear those voices that people are tired of this topic about the war and those conspiracy theory out there. But for me, it's important to, this is my job. This is the thing that I can do, only that I can do. This is my love, dance. And I try to, even if I try to comment the reality with my language, with my work. And even if it's sometimes comedy, and even if it's not connected to, like, even if it's not give a comment about the war, it always help people laugh for a moment, and maybe they forget about those bad situations just for a few seconds. And that was, and actually it happened. So that was answer for me about my job and about what to do as a dancer now, as a mover. And also I see those, like Zhenya said, because in Lublin, the culture center that we worked with this piece, there is a homophobic organization that take care about refugees all around. And they actually use dance workshops, improvisations, and just lessons to help to connect with those people with trauma. Not only refugees, but also Polish people who helped and who were there to connect with this trauma and to kind of heal from this. It's a huge, big topic, and I think we have to be connected as a people and as to our bodies. Yeah, just.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to open it up to the students and see if there's any questions. I do want to just comment that Daniil isn't here because he was concerned. Well, we didn't know if he would be able to come in, but because the title of this was Institute on Russia, he was concerned about Russian spies and propaganda, and you can imagine the trust and the issues that somebody would have while he's there with his family, his new family. So we all, this group, we're connected on a WhatsApp, and all we do is like check in. And when we don't hear from Daniil for a little while, we get worried and we call each other and say, have you heard from him? So we do just try to do what we can to like stay connected. But yes, I'd like to just wanted to tell you that why he's not here. Can I open it up? Yes, yeah. Sophia. Oh, you might need the microphone.
So we're going to give you a microphone. So people on Zoom, you can't see the audience, but maybe do you want to stand up and just maybe turn towards the camera? I'm sorry to make you do that, Sophia, but just so that you can see who's talking.
Well, hi, I'm Sophia. Okay, I am gonna point in this direction because first off, I just want to thank you, Colleen, for creating this piece, and to Colleen and Michael for organizing this for us. I feel as though I'm in a very privileged situation to be able to talk with people who are directly like working with people and who have worked with people who are experiencing this war, and the video is just so special, and so thank you. My question to you all, hi, is if you were able to be in a space together again, first off, what would you say to each other, and in what ways do you think your movement and your performance would change? Yeah.
Great question. Thanks, Sophia.
Can I answer?
Please.
I don't know if I would talk, but I will hug them like crazy. I would squeeze them and I would jump on them, and then I don't know. Let's see what happened. But I would need like real physical crazy connection like we had when we were doing this piece.
Llama would definitely jump on us.
I think it's important to note also that we started our practice every day with like a 10 to 15 minute group improvisation just to like read and feel the room. And I feel like that's just where we would pick up when we saw each other next.
Go ahead, Sam.
Well, this is sort of funny, but I used to think of my duet with Danielle as like my dance husband, you know, and it was very like tense, and we would like, we're kind of like there was just this what? It's not, I'm not, you know, have no tension with my real husband. Don't worry, everything's fine. But you know, like I just would feel like, and part of it again was like I talked about in the video, like I was exploring some of this grotesque stuff, and then I have this little thing where I say like, this is your ex-wife and she's really happy without you, whatever, you know, that stuff. And so sometimes I would have like my own little narrative about our duet, that because there is a tension there, like there's a tightness, you know, and it's and I'm slapping my leg and then I'm moving kind of fast, and it's like there's discord that, you know, it works together, but there's discord, and that's kind of what works about it. But anyway, so for me to revisit that with Danielle, I think I just know I would bring like a really a little more like compassion to my dance husband, and a little bit more softness. Like I just feel like it would actually invite like a really different way to experience that duet with him, and a different narrative for myself and my dance husband.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to maybe say that I will appreciate much more to be together in the studio, you know, with all of the people, with all of the mix, different creatures from all of the world. I have to say, like all the time, I have in my head that I'm just sad that Daniel is not with us here. I feel that he's really missing. And yeah, for sure, the dance will be totally different in that times what we are now. That for sure. And yeah, speaking about art in this moment is, you know, it's hard because I'm in two stages. Like first stage is like, I don't want to speak about art at all in this time, like how we can, you know. And the second part is like, oh my God, we are an artist. As Mikołaj said, this is our way of maybe helping other people. Also, as Lama said, in Poland, there's like now a lot of crazy changes. I also wanted to, I was supposed to do the project, one project in Poland, and the project changed to the project which is just taking the Ukrainian dancers, you know. So I'm like in between all the time and struggling with all of the crazy thoughts, but for sure it would be so great to meet again in the studio, in the free and open and peaceful place, you know. That's from my side.
I would like to add one thing. For sure, I would love to dance with all you guys and meet one more time. Could be awesome, honestly. Besides the words, you know what I'm talking about. And also to go to this Mexican place one more time.
We went to a Mexican restaurant after our La Mama show on Cinco de Mayo. I don't think they had tequila before.
Oh no, the polls on tequila. There you go.
Yeah, if I can jump also, it was, we are all have different background, even we people from Poland. I know Monica, Christian, we were on different years. So we have actually met different people on our education. So we are all, Colleen invite all of us. And we met those crazy bunch of people, like Monica said. I was super curious what will happen and if we actually will click. And now I'm just super smiling to see all those faces. And I'm like, I remember my feeling after when this project was finished, that it's sad that we never meet again. And now this meeting happened, even if it's only online. I'm just super happy. So I hope that some producers just only seeing this, that we want to work together again.
I mean, actually, we were gonna, after La Mama, we were talking about touring to Kiev and Belarus. We were gonna try to do it, but then the pandemic hit. That was in 2019.
Yeah.
We were talking about it for the summer. So yeah, we were hoping to tour the piece. So we'll see.
Can I jump in with questions from the audience online, because we were really out of time, but if we can do it super fast. We have a couple questions from the audience, and they're the online audience, and they're similar, which is in the process of your improvisation, because Darren mentioned how you did improvisational work as well. Did you draw upon your respective countries' cultural traditions in the course of your improvisation? So the dance traditions of your respective countries.
Dari, he's got an internal monologue going on. Do you want to unmute there?
But I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I was like, no. It felt like I mean, I'm not going to speak for other people's experience, but I assume that whatever people are coming from culturally is always in the room with them, so it will bleed through no matter what. But what I remember is that we really came, I think that's why we improvised every morning, and we broke bread together every day. Like, we spent time together in a real way, and I think that was more of the impetus of what the movement was like what we created. And there's been something I've been thinking this whole time. I'm just like, is this stupid? But it's not. And because sometimes I'm doing something and I just stop and I'm just like, there's a whole ass war. There's a whole ass war in Ukraine. I'll be walking, beautiful day outside or something, a beer garden. I'm just like, oh, there's a whole ass war. And I'm thinking about dance, and I mean, I have a lot to say about about the physical body in itself, but sometimes I'm just I'm thinking about people who are at war, and that what their bodies are doing is that they're creating death. They're just creating and multiplying death and destruction, and it spreads globally. You feeling, I feel us feeling why should we be doing what we want to do? Is that is the ripple effects of death. That is this war stripping life in so many different ways, and I'm just what they could be doing is they could be contact improvising. And it sounds stupid, but they could be using their bodies to do something different. They could actually just be doing something else. And that's just what makes me so sad about it. It's just unnecessary, but also makes me so grateful for what we do, because I feel it gives us that reminder that we can do something else with these bodies. So. And thank you guys for bringing this together. I love you, Colleen, and all the work that you guys are doing in your own individual ways to help people. It's yeah.
Thank you, Dari. Appreciate you.
Love you guys.
Yeah. So
I think that's a beautiful place to end. Actually, because we are out of time. So I want to thank you all. I'm really grateful that you participated in this event. I'm grateful to Colleen and Michael and everybody in Paris and online who joined us. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for doing this. We're really grateful.
It's our pleasure, and obviously we're thinking of Daniel, and if we can end on his message of hope and gratitude for where we are now, and our thoughts and our energy go to him right now. Colleen, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Golfo. Thank you, artists.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.